Grizz Nation, it has been one whole year, but we have convinced Connor Letourneau, the Warriors beat writer for the San Francisco Chronicle, to come back and talk draft stuff with us again. Last year, we were talking number 2 for the Warriors. This year, the Warriors are on the clock for the number 7 pick. And I feel like, Connor, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like after 5, it really was like, I didn't know who teams were going to be high on. So tell me what you think about this number 7 pick specifically for the Warriors. I'm like, what could fit, who they like, what's going on.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like you said, there is kind of a pretty clear-cut top 5, and I think Scotty Barnes out of Florida State is emerged as the number 6 guy. So I think there's a pretty clear-cut top 6 at this point. The order of those guys could evolve, but I see those guys going top 6, that being Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Jalen Suggs, Evan Mobley, Jonathan Kuminga, and Scotty Barnes. But after that, it gets really, it's super fluid after that. I mean, the Warriors are drafting at 7 and 14. They could potentially get the same guy at 7 that they'd, get at 14. It's that fluid of a draft. So, everything I've been hearing from the Warriors is that they're very much in win now mode with kind of an aging core with Steph now, 33 and Klay and Draymond in their early 30s. And so if they do end up keeping both picks, and I say if because I don't think that's plan A. I think plan A is to potentially try to package those in a deal for a true difference maker or even move up in the draft into that top 5. Take someone like Jalen Green or Jalen Suggs, who I know the Warriors are high on. But if they keep 7, I see them taking someone who can help them right away. Davion Mitchell out of Baylor would make a lot of sense, I think. He's someone who is a high-level defensive player, really efficient offensively, a winner. The Warriors really value versatility and winning. He was the best player on that national championship team at Baylor. I think he's kind of a plug-and-play guy who could be a top 8 rotation player as a rookie. So I think he would make sense. I think there's other guys in that mold, even at 14, even if, let's say, they took Mitchell at 7, I think there's guys at 14 who could help them. Corey Kispert out of Gonzaga, an elite shooter. There's a bunch of guys there who I think can be helpful players. I always struggle with the pronunciation, but the big man out of Turkey who's been projected anywhere from mid first round to early second, I think he would be a helpful player at that number 14 spot. So, this is a really deep draft. This is a really strong, deep draft. I think the Warriors can get guys that help them.
Well, that's why I wanted to mention that. Like, we're saying it's like a clear-cut top 5, top 6, but like it doesn't like drop off. It's just like this is a very talented draft class. And so, like you said, you could get someone at 14 who could be that difference maker. And I think if you're watching this from the Grizzlies side, we've had 30th picks the last 3 years that have been difference makers. So it's not to say that it necessarily drops off. So I will come back to you on like if the Warriors stay in 7, we'll come back to this. Let's say they package something and they move up. You mentioned Jalen Green and Jalen Suggs. If you had to guess, the Warriors can move up to whatever they want and get who they want. Which one of those do you think fits better for them?
I think they both fit, but I would lean toward Jalen Suggs. I think Jalen Suggs is a perfect fit. One of the Warriors' biggest needs right now is they need kind of a secondary playmaker and a guy who can be an unquestioned 6-man type. And I think Jalen Suggs could slide into that role immediately. Even though he only spent 1 year at Gonzaga, he's incredibly polished. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He kind of plays beyond his years. He's solid defensively, very efficient offensively, sees the floor well. He's kind of a grown man in a 19, 20-year-old's body. And so I think he could slide into that 6-man role and be that third guard alongside, Steph and Klay. And I think that he's less raw. He's more polished than someone like Jalen Green. Jalen Green, I think, probably has a higher ceiling. I think Jalen Green could very well be a perennial all-star in this league. I actually have gotten to know him a little bit when he was up in Napa. I did a big profile on him, and there's reasons why he's getting the Kobe Bryant comparisons. He's a special athlete, but We watched him in the G League bubble this past year. He definitely has some things to work on, and I think Jalen Suggs is a little further along right now, which is why I think they would lean towards Suggs.
Yeah, because like we said, like you don't want to waste away Steph's, prime right now. Like they're in a win now mentality. They want to get back to the playoffs. They want to get back to being contender like next season, not building in that project that Green may be. So now I'm going to put you on the clock, Connor. Trades are unacceptable in this draft. You got to pick at that number 7. Somehow it just didn't work out for the Warriors. You are now the commissioner. The 6 people that have been chosen are the exact 6 that you mentioned. So in that number 7 spot, who are you drafting?
I'm going to go Davion Mitchell for the reasons that I mentioned before. I think he's a guy who can be a 7th, 8th man right away. He's not going to have as big of a learning curve as these other guys, and he's very versatile, and he's a winner, and he's helpful defensively. So I think I'm going to go with him. I don't think that his ceiling is as high as some of these other guys, but I think that people might be underrating his ceiling. I think he's going to be a very good player in this league for a long time.
Yeah, he is obviously like National Defensive Player of the Year. He's this lockdown defender on the college level. Hopefully that translates to NBA.
And it doesn't always. It's hard to predict
hopefully.
But I think he's really special defensively. I think it'll translate. And he's better offensively than people give him credit for too.
Yeah, agreed. Do you think people discredit him because of his size?
I think his size. I think a lot of it's age. I mean, I think he's 22. Mm-hmm. And there's just so much. Such a big premium put on guys who are 19, 20 years old. It feels like, front offices would rather have that 19-year-old who didn't even do anything in his 1 year in college than that 22-year-old who won a national championship and was the best team on that national championship team. But the Warriors took Eric Paschall 41 a couple years ago, and the reason Paschall fell that late was because he was 22, but he came in and was first team all rookie and could help right away and was arguably their best player on a really bad team that season. So I don't think you shouldn't overlook these older guys who have a proven track record. Draymond Green being another great example of that.
I want to put older in quotations, like he's 22, older.
We're saying someone that's 22 is older. Yeah. That's where we're in.
Connor, thank you so much again for your time today. I'm excited for you to be back covering Warriors playoffs.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm ready. I had, my little hiatus for 2 years, but I'm ready to get back to covering finals bound teams. That was a lot more fun. So
yeah. And hey, you'll find out if Davion is going to be the one to help you on July 29th. So thank you again. I really, really, really appreciate it. And Grizzlies fans, you know where you can get more tomorrow on grindcitymedia.com.